Let's try this one more again, family. One more again.
Hey, bro,
What's good?
got a little emergency. I got to run to the store get some wipes. I'm out of for baby wipes, so I'm gonna be mobile. I might drop off, but I'm coming back in once I get back to the house.
All right.
All right.
Let me see.
Was that I had heard of Exodus explorers. For the Bible, I had been interviewing people all over the world for years. Now it was time to tell my story. As a filmmaker investigating the Exodus and the writings of Moses, I was confronted by a new controversy. Most scholars don't think Moses could have written the early books of the Bible, but that is exactly what the Bible is claiming.
Family, just in case we get flagged again, I'm gonna put the link in the chat so y'all can go check that out yourself. Just in case we get knocked off again, you might have to, get them your email information so they can send you the link. Whatever, just sign up for it. That's the link right there. If we get kicked off again, we just come back and share the scriptures that we have pertaining to the matter. But y'all let me know if we get flagged so I can know to stop playing the video.
These scholars think that Hebrew, the language of the Bible, wasn't even in existence at the time of Moses. This is the Moses controversy. But that is not where my journey began. I started this investigation back in 2002, searching for the path that Moses and the Israelites would have taken in their exodus out of Egypt. Either it was something like that. What interested me in the beginning was that I had heard of Exodus explorers claiming to have found remarkable evidence of the miraculous sea crossing, where the Bible says God split the waters to allow the Israelites to pass, but brought the water back down on the Egyptians, destroying their chariots and army. These explorers claim to have found the remains of coral-encrusted chariot wheels on the bottom of the Red Sea. There were other Exodus explorers claiming to have found the real location for Mount Sinai, with the remains of altars from the time when the Israelites met with God, and where Moses began to write the first books of the Bible. Could it be that after thousands of years, the real Exodus story is finally being discovered? One of the greatest stories of the Bible.
I think the Exodus story is fundamental because when you come to understand the Bible, it's the history of Israel. Israel has no history apart from the Exodus. The Exodus defines the Jewish people. It's their self-identity, their whole understanding of Passover, which throughout the Old Testament you see that Exodus is repeated over and over again.
Buying Passover offering matzah.
It's the God who brought you out of Egypt. Remember, go back to these events happened.
But I also interviewed scholars who dismissed the books of Moses as fanciful tales about the origins of the Israelites, not written until long after the events. This caused me to put my investigation of the sea cross and the journey to Mount Sinai on hold. I knew I could not investigate these events until I first determined whether Moses even had the ability to write down the details of the Exodus journey. This investigation would reveal one of the most profound discoveries I have ever encountered.
Another one going along in this direction.
I traveled to some of today's leading universities to understand why mainstream scholars don't consider these early events of the Bible to be historical. Professor William Deaver is one of America's premier archaeologists who specializes in the history of Israel during biblical times. Early in his 50-year career, he witnessed and actually participated in a revolutionary change of attitudes towards the Bible in the field of archaeology.
I made my early reputation warring against traditional biblical archaeology, and people say, well, Deaver's the man who killed biblical archaeology. No, I only observed its passing and wrote its obituary. The fact is, that sort of archaeology, trying to prove the Bible, wasn't working. I rebelled against my teachers when I was young because I thought there was much more to learn with different approaches to archaeology. And today, no one does that kind of prove the Bible archaeology. Remember, the biblical writers exaggerate. Solomon was not quite that great, and David didn't do all of those things. So I don't see Moses as the founder of Israelite religion. Most scholars don't today.
Professor Donald Redford has long been one of the world's most respected Egyptologists. He was given the award for Best Scholarly Book in Archaeology for his work, Egypt, Canaan, and Israel in Ancient Times. He too is very critical of the early Bible stories, including the Exodus.
I would subject the biblical 1 to 15 of Exodus to the same kind of historical probing that any historian will do. Who wrote this stuff? For whom did he write it? When did he write it? And very important, what did he know of the topic he was writing about? And boy, my research, Exodus 1 to 15 comes off very negatively. Very.
What does negatively mean?
Well, it does not reflect almost anything to do with the original incident.
Retired university professor Doug Knight taught at Vanderbilt's Divinity School. He co-wrote The Meaning of the Bible, which is used in numerous colleges and seminaries.
Did Moses read the Torah? Frankly, I don't think so. I think it was a product of a lot of other people much later than his time.
Interestingly, these three leading voices in the world of archaeology, Egyptology, and biblical studies have something in common. All were raised in conservative Bible-believing homes, just as I was. Over time, these scholars became agnostic, at least in part because of the challenges they saw against the Bible, such as the lack of supporting evidence. Was that sort of the beginning of going from maybe a fundamentalist believer to an agnostic?
Yes, very much so. I felt that this is very personal statement that something had been put over on me, and there was fraudulence involved, and I still feel that way.
By exploring this topic, would I follow their same path?
It's all good. It's all good. Can y'all still hear me? Probably can't.